Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm George. Today we're going to be talking about TTRS and RS3 clutch upgrades. We're going to be talking about the same clutch backs that the 5-cylinder community use. Now we are also reusing, because we're still using the RS3 transmission. Again, the VR6 swap, the cool thing about it with the machine face, we're still able to utilize the 5-cylinder clutch packs. Hopefully they hold up, but we have no doubt, knowing DCT's history and quality and kind of designs that they put into these clutch packs. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. The differences between the OEM clutch pack, all right, the DCT 1000. Again, this was a prototype Gen 1 from 2018, 2019. We've been running in the RS3 for the last few years. It's essentially a billet face cover and a couple extra discs on the inside to give it that extra sturdiness and grip that we needed to make the power. And now with the HD 1400, steps up the game quite a bit with internal reinforcements. All right, more clutch discs, and again, a brand new design on the billet face, which I'm really excited about, to hold that power. Again, it's called the HD 1400 for a reason, made for the big guys, making the big power and trying to hold it without having to, break stuff. Is breaking stuff inevitable? Maybe. But at least this stuff is going to help you last a little bit longer when it comes to making that power going down the track and putting down the power to the ground. We're also going to be talking about flywheel upgrades. This is the exact 5-cylinder flywheel that we ran in our 5-cylinder setup RS3 with all the drag racing. We're only making about 750, 800 wheel, barely. But look, we already broke the plates internally on the flywheel. We're going to talk about the 6-cylinder version of this flywheel and the upgrades that are available from DCT. That's going to help us not break stuff, or maybe it will help us break other stuff other than the flywheel. But we're going to talk about the flywheel upgrades from DCT that we're going to be running on this RS3. I have the R30 fully built, fully assembled, ready to go. Obviously, all the accessories have to be put in, but the motor itself is fully assembled and done. We have the DCT flywheel with the billet centered housing. Look at that. No thin metal plates from OEM that are going to break. This is an upgraded billet center housing. Again, made to last. If you've seen a fast 5-cylinder car making big power, I'm talking about big power, going super low eights, it's running a DCT center flywheel upgrade with the OEM RS3 flywheel in order to put down the power, which we're really excited for. So that's torqued and installed. We got the billet crank bolt that's in there, fully torqued and installed, really excited. But the R30 is ready to go. But we need to make sure before we start slapping on all the parts that now we can swap out the correct clutch basket. So we removed the HD 1000 from the RS3 transmission, and we're about to install the HD 1400. I'm waiting on a new clutch cover to come in, a new seal, and then we should have this thing together inside the engine bay and firing here in no time. But today, again, clutch packs. Let's talk about the differences between all three. OEM, Gen 1 HD 1000, and now you can call it a Stage 5. Stop, should we call it a Stage 6? Stage 6, yeah. Stage 6 clutch upgrade for the DQ500 RS3. And let's kick on this video. Let's talk about it. Let's go over now the OEM clutch pack upgrades and the DCT upgrades over the years. This is an OEM clutch pack right here. It has the OEM face on it. You can see you got a lot of abuse, a lot of heat added to it as well. It is an unmodified clutch pack. Any RS3 TTRS is going to have the same clutch pack installed. Ran this for a while when the car was Stage 2, but going with the big turbo stuff, built motor stuff, we needed an upgrade. Years ago, DCT was the first on the list to make upgrades for the RS3 TTRS. This was their version 1 prototype of the HD 1000. It was an unmodified stock housing, all right, but they did add internal discs to it as far as clutch discs with a billet face on it. When I say unmodified, all right, obviously they added discs to it, meaning nothing was reinforced in the clutch pack. RS3s at the time were only making 600, 700, 800 wheel horsepower. Now you see some of them making upwards of 900, 950, 1,000. Some claim to be making 1,100. Again, they need something a little bit more robust than what the HD 1000 could put out. And again, we ran this clutch pack with about 90% of the drag racing and the half-mile racing you saw on the channel. And we're going to go over the differences between that and now the new upgrade from DCT. DCT now seeing RS3s, all right, going into the low 8s, into the 7s, understanding that they're going to be making a lot of power, seeing these clutch baskets actually fail, crack on the inside due to all the wear and tear and abuse and the loads that are putting on them. They decided to make a reinforced clutch pack internally with also adding extra discs on the inside for grip. what they're known for, this billet face cover to make sure the snout doesn't rip off with high power and under high load. Now let me go over some of the unique differences between the DCT 1400 and the 1000. I'm going to show you guys that here right quick. I'll pop off the cover on the 1400 and the 1000 kit and show you what an unmodified clutch basket looks like. All right, and what a reinforced clutch basket looks like. Now, do you see that difference? I'm not sure if you guys can notice it, but that is an OEM clutch basket that's unmodified and not reinforced. All right, and take a look. There's actually a billet ring that's spot welded on the inside of this housing to make sure that inner basket doesn't stretch, distort, and crack. Now, is it gonna stop it? Probably not. With all the abuse and all the craziness that the RS3 crowd is putting at their cars, eventually these will probably end up failing too. But DCT is taking steps to help make these a little bit more fail resistant, to give a little bit more strength and durability on the inside of the clutch basket, as opposed to just providing a billet face cover, which a lot of clutch manufacturers do. DCT took it the next level, offered the billet reinforcements on the inside of the clutch pack, along with their really, really well put disc kits on the inside of the transmission, on the inside of the clutch pack, and then, of course, their billet face. So that's the clutch that we're going to be running on the inside of this DQ500 RS3. Is going to be the HD 1400 kit. We'll look forward to putting this thing to the test, trying to break it, trying to distort it, and really having some fun going down the track with the VR6 setup. And these are the three options. Essentially OEM, your HD 1000. Now there's an HD 1100 kit, there's a 1200 kit, but if you want that reinforcement, luckily we were the first ones to get this HD 1400 kit with this billet ring, and we're really excited about putting these things to the test. All right, so we popped off the Mechatronic cover on the side of the transmission. We haven't installed the HD 1400s. However, one thing that we like to do behind this Mechatronic, which is the electronic computer control unit that makes the transmission do what it does, are these standpipes inside, all right, into the transmissions. They slide in, are these little plastic pipes. I'll put a screenshot of them. They're decent quality from Audi, but they do get brittle over time and break apart. The O-rings are not the best quality, so with high pressure, high heat, they ended up just kind of falling apart. And what happens then, you lose clutch pressure, ended up just slipping your clutches and ruining something over probably 30 cents worth of O-rings. And I'll show you guys where they're located in just a second. So I'm going to pop this Mechatronic off, and let's show you guys where it's at. And we'll talk about what we're going to be installing in lieu of what's already in there. All right, so see these little shiny, shiny silver parts? These are the billet tubes that we inserted with our own sizes of O-rings. Again, not knowing if they're the correct ones, but they normally would be black, smaller plastic, and you'd be able to tell. But it's a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tubes in there that we replaced and upgraded to just to make sure it was good. And then we usually go inside here on the magnets, usually clean those out. Didn't really do any hard driving. Last time we took this apart, you remember in our previous video when we were putting the new machine bell housing from the older DQ500 onto the new RS3 transmission, you can actually see the color difference and how old the material is. We ended up going through cleaning up all the magnets just to make sure we're good. We'll do the same. We'll clean up any debris that are at the bottom. I'll remove these standpipes, make sure that they're good to go, and let's just see what kind of condition the O-rings are once we remove them. All right, so I'm basically just going in with a small little pick. I'm just hooking into the back of that tube and just pulling it forward, basically. All right, so we have the new 034 billet upgrades with the new upgraded, use the upgrade 5 times in a row, with the new beefed up O-rings, Viten, however you guys want to pronounce it, Viten O-rings, and pretty much damaged each one of the set that we made with the generic O-rings that we slapped on just to make sure we were good to go when we were doing the VR6 swap last year to get it going and driving. So just wanted to show you guys how I'm going to be installing this stuff, just using a little bit of automotive grease, kind of going over pretty much both sides. All right, generic automotive grease will be fine. Just get it on the outside and good to go. All right, in, and then I'm just pressing it in, and that's it. That's how easy it is. It's going to be installed, and I'm going to go over the, again, I'm going to be very generous on the outside of the body, especially on the O-rings. Press it in, pressed in, good to go. And that's how easy it installs, guys. That's how simple it is. Again, this is stuff that when we were doing car stuff, you know, on the B5s, when I first got the RS3, I would have never thought we would be working on this kind of stuff and doing this type of level of transmission work, but we are. And I feel a lot more comfortable doing this stuff now. Press it in. Pressed in. Done. That's in, guys. And it's in. All the billet tubes are replaced. And again, I damaged some of these coming out, so it's a good thing I bought a set. Replacement set. And the O-rings did get damaged upon removing, but they were not the highest quality either, so I imagine that's probably part of the culprit. But these are a huge issue in the DQ500. If they're not upgraded, the O-rings are not upgraded, the standpipes are not upgraded, you could find yourself with a pressure problem and a clutch problem. So think about it, $100 to replace these along with the O-rings, or a few $1,000s just in parts for a clutch, and then maybe even labor for some of you guys that are, you know, not yet confident to do this kind of stuff at home. Add another couple grand on labor to remove the transmission, reinstall the clutch, all that other stuff once you've blown it. Yeah, it's worth it to upgrade to this stuff just to make sure you have peace of mind. So these are essentially going in the trash since they're all damaged. And now this is ready to be installed. So, oh, and two last things too. So on the mech, there are these two O-rings around here. I think I have the same size, and I have a whole bag that we ordered. So I'm just gonna upgrade these two on the actual mech, and then call it a day, and then install it. So let's do that. Oh, it's back together. Trans is assembled. Well, it wasn't really taken apart, but new clutch pack is in. Of course, I like leaving little messages like this all over the build just because of how far me and Stav have come. You know, they said we couldn't VR6 swap B5s. We did that years ago, and now we're VR6 swapping RS3s. They said we couldn't do it. Drove the car 12, 15, almost 20,000 miles last year. And now I'm getting ready to mate this to the R30 engine. And I think I want to finish this video off with mating it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm going to mate it. Let's mate this DQ500 with the HD 1400 DCT clutch pack, new billet stand tubes. And let's mate it to the R30 motor. Get it on my rolling engine stand, or rolling engine table. And maybe even throw that tubular manifold on there and start making it look like an engine. Yeah, let's do that. Hurrah! Yep. So yeah, let's do that. Let's finish this video off seeing how it looks together. So the R30 is finally fully mated to the DQ500. I haven't installed the transfer case. It's still on my table. I'll throw that on in just a bit. But the trans is mated. The transfer case we'll throw on later. I threw on the manifold for a good measure. But it's looking good, guys. It is looking good. The transmission is now mated to the R30 engine. HD 1400 clutch packs are installed. The billet standpipes with the upgrade O-rings are installed behind the Mechatronic. Both the engine and the transmission are fully dry. I'm going to have to service it, so I ordered the fluid kit and the filter kit for the DQ500 RS3 transmission, and then of course some nice fresh oil for the built R30. So really excited to kind of assemble this thing and throw it in the engine bay. I actually got to power wash this engine bay. It's really nasty, so I'm going to do that here this week. Stav's still gotta, well, before we even get there, we got to get this motor in the car and start plugging everything in and having Stav install the wiring harness, run the connectors up, and just kind of finally finish the last touches on the harness. But guys, I'm excited. This thing is beautiful. I love the fact that it's all silver. Again, the cast iron is not naturally silver right off the back, but we painted it, and it looks very fitting and very proper, especially for the theme that I'm going with in the car. And also, since a lot of the components inside the engine bay are already silver, it's kind of just my thing. So, yeah. Guys, we talked clutches in this video. We talked upgraded flywheels from DCT. And I want to give a shout out to Dima at DCT. Man, this guy lived and worked out of the Ukraine during those whole craziness that happened. Ended up losing his home out there, now moved into Europe, and now he just kicked on shipping and building and manufacturing clutches again. So, you know, you don't realize how crazy the world is till someone you know that supported you for the last few years in this racing industry gets affected by it. So Dima, you know, I hope everything's okay out there. I hope you don't mind me messaging you every now and then, making sure you're okay. But for those of you guys that don't know, Dima is one hell of a person. Barely speaks English, but he will message you and help you to the best of his ability to install these clutches, figure it out, work on the transmission. He has no problem sharing information and resources. And Dima, I beyond appreciate it, man. And we thank you. Me and Stav, we both thank you for the support that you've showed this channel, and also for the development partly due to this swap not being possible without Dima. He made us the Flywheel upgrades, all right, that's going to be compatible with his upgraded reinforced clutch packs. You know, there's not really high demand for DQ500 VR6 components. He wouldn't have made it anyway, so the rest of us now can gain and garner some interest and get this swap up and going. Now, mind you, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people swapping RS3s with VR6s in the future. Who knows? Maybe a lot more people, well, a lot more people have been popping motors lately, but I don't know if they're looking to go the VR6 route. But for those with older Volkswagens or Audis looking to do a DQ500 swap, now DCT carries a full lineup to support the actual VR with the DQ500 RS3 transmission. Again, reusing the 2018 RS3 transmission in this car. So it's not manual. We're reusing it, as we said in every video. And again, Dima, without your support, this has never been possible. So stay safe out there, man. And for those of you guys that are just getting into the TTRS RS3, for those of you guys looking to get into the 8Y, DCT is going to be hands down the company you're going to want to deal with for upgraded flywheels and clutch packs. Believe me, they stand behind their products. They've been here since the beginning. They helped develop and push the platform, and without them, I'd say about 99% of the fast RS3s out there wouldn't be where they're at without DCT clutch. So Dima, thank you again. And for those of you guys that are just joining this channel for the first time, I thank you guys for watching. And those of you guys that have been with us in the beginning, thanks for all the support, guys. Me and Stav, we really appreciate it. So we'll catch you guys on the next video.